Alright folks, Battlefield fans, the wait is finally over. Battlefield 6 is here and it's bringing back that classic chaos we've all been craving. No gimmicks, no nonsense, just pure military action. And today, we're diving straight into the weapons. Now, before you start arguing in the comments, keep in mind this is the beta version we're talking about. The full release will have a massive arsenal of 40 to 50 guns. But for now, we've only got 15 to work with. And that's exactly what we're ranking today. So here's the deal, this isn't just a random list we threw together. We're breaking it down weapon by weapon, explaining why each one deserves its spot. Because, let's be real, different guns shine in different situations. Snipers own the long-range game, shotguns melt faces up close, and everything in between has its moment. So don't take this as the one true gospel of Battlefield firepower. Take it as a fun guide to help you crush the beta and maybe discover your new favorite weapon. I'm quickly moving on to the video and I'm ranking weapons in Battlefield 6. Before we start, if you enjoy these types of tier list videos, don't forget to like the video and subscribe. Enjoy watching.
My friends, only 0.1% of viewers subscribe. If you like this type of content, please do not forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you in advance for your support.
The weapons in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, P18. You know that moment when you run out of ammo, your squad is down and all you have left is a sidearm? Yeah, that's when the P18 handgun politely raises its hand and says, "Guess it's my time to shine." The problem is, its shine is more like a dim flashlight than a spotlight. The P18 has a fire rate of 399 rounds per minute, a magazine that only holds 17 bullets, and it deals 25 damage per shot. On paper, it looks like a decent emergency option, but let's be real, this thing is never going to outgun someone holding a rifle. Now don't get me wrong, as the only sidearm available in the beta, the P18 is reliable enough to bail you out in desperate situations. Its mobility and hip-fire accuracy are pretty solid, which means you can whip it out and spray at close range without completely embarrassing yourself. Still, it's like bringing a butter knife to a sword fight. You might land a hit or two, but you are not the hero of the battlefield with this in hand. So where does that leave the P18 in the grand weapon hierarchy? Squarely in C tier, not because it is unusable, but because it is limited by design. Its entire identity is the backup plan, and in a beta that is packed with high-performing primary weapons, the P18 is basically that friend you only call when everyone else is busy. It does the job when absolutely necessary, but no one is ever saying, "Oh boy, I cannot wait to run into battle with just my P18. The weapons in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, B36A4, M433, KTS-100, MK8, SVK-86, and M417A2. Let's be honest, B tier is that awkward middle child of the Battlefield 6 beta weapon lineup. These are the guns that will not exactly disappoint you, but they will not blow your mind either. They are reliable, functional, and they can definitely get the job done, but you are never going to write home about them. Think of B tier as the friend who shows up to the party but never brings snacks. Useful, dependable, but not really the life of the show. Starting off, we have the B36A4 assault rifle. This thing is literally the default weapon of the beta. You know that gun that feels like it was designed in a board meeting where everyone said, "Let's make something safe"? Yeah, that's the B36A4. With a fire rate of 719 rounds per minute and decent precision, it does its job, but recoil and damage, not so hot compared to the MVO 228E or the M4A1. B36A4 is basically the jack of all trades, master of none kind of rifle. It is solid if you do not want to think too much about weapon mods, or if you are okay being the boring guy in the squad. Next up, the M433 assault rifle. Now this one is way more aggressive. With a blazing 830 rounds per minute fire rate, this rifle wants you to run straight into someone's face and unload. It is technically an assault rifle, but it acts more like an SMG on too much caffeine. The damage per second is great up close, but the recoil and lack of accuracy make it a nightmare at range. If you are the kind of player who loves flanking, sprinting, and catching people off guard in tight corners, the M433 will be your best friend. But try to use it for long-range duels? Forget it. You will lose that fight 9 out of 10 times. Now let's talk about the KTS-100 MK8 light machine gun. This is the "I don't need high damage, I just want to make my enemies panic" type of weapon. It only deals 25 damage per shot, which is not impressive, but here is the catch. It barely moves when you fire it. Low recoil, stable handling, and 60 rounds in the drum magazine make it perfect for suppression. You will not top the kill charts with it, but you will make life miserable for anyone who dares peek a lane. Still, when compared to the L110, the MK8 feels like the weaker sibling, useful, but not the main attraction. Then we have the SVK 8.6 designated marksman rifle. Now this is a gun that demands patience. One shot deals 60 damage, which is brutal. But its fire rate is only 149 rounds per minute and the magazine only holds 10 bullets. That means if you miss, you are basically giving your opponent a free pass to delete you. Compared to the M39 EMR, it feels clunky, but if you are the type who enjoys slow, calculated, methodical play, the SVK 8.6 can feel very rewarding. Still, most players want versatility, and that is where this rifle falls short. Let's not forget the M417A2 carbine. Chambered in 7.62mm, this compact battle rifle hits decently hard at 33 damage per shot, and its rate of fire is a comfortable 654 rounds per minute. The downside, it only has a 20-round magazine and its hip fire is atrocious. You do not want to be in close range spraying with this thing. The M417A2 is best suited for tap firing or controlled bursts at mid-range, but compared to the AK-205, it just feels underwhelming. Not terrible, not amazing, just fine. So, how do we sum up these B-tier guns? They are like the B students in school. They are not failing the class, they are not valedictorians, they are just cruising in the middle, and sometimes that is all you need. Each weapon here has a niche. The B36A4 is the safe choice, the M433 is the aggressive close-range shredder, the KTS-100 MK8 is for suppression, the SVK 8.6 is for patient snipers, and the M417A2 is for those who like high-damage rifles with limitations. The important thing to remember with B-tier weapons is that they are heavily influenced by playstyle. If you pick them up and expect them to dominate in every situation, you are going to be disappointed. But if you lean into their strengths, whether that is sustained fire, fast flanking, or precision shots, you can absolutely hold your own. They just require a little more effort and adaptation compared to the higher tier picks. Of course, in a competitive environment, these weapons do not quite cut it against the S tier and A tier monsters. That is why they are stuck here in the middle. They are not bad, but they are not going to carry you either. And in a beta filled with powerful, flashy options, sometimes being just okay is the worst thing you can be. So, unless you have a specific reason, or you just enjoy going against the grain, most players will eventually move away from these B-tier weapons. But hey, there is always that one guy who absolutely swears the M433 is the best gun in the game if you know how to use it. Spoiler alert, he is half right. At the end of the day, B-tier weapons in Battlefield 6 beta are like that dependable middle-of-the-road car. They will get you from point A to point B, but nobody is turning their head to admire it. And that is okay, sometimes reliability is all you need, until you run into someone with a top-tier weapon who absolutely wrecks you. The weapons in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, M4A1, AK-205, SGX, L1110, and M39 EMR. Now we are getting to the A tier weapons, and honestly, this is where things start getting really fun. These guns may not be the absolute kings of the meta, but they are close enough that, in the right hands, they can carry games. Think of A tier like that kid in school who is just one grade below the genius student, still smarter than everyone else, but just not quite top of the class. Let's start with the M4A1 carbine, a fan favorite that will feel instantly familiar. This gun has one of the highest fire rates in the game, clocking in at 900 rounds per minute. That makes it an absolute monster in close range fights. The trade-off? Its recoil control sits at 36 and precision at 27, which means if you try to spray this thing at mid-range, your bullets are going on vacation. Burst fire it though, and suddenly it feels like you have unlocked a hidden cheat code. Aggressive players who thrive in close encounters are going to love this thing. Next up, the AK-205 carbine, the polar opposite of the M4A1 in many ways. While the M4 is all about sheer chaos up close, the AK-205 is calm, steady, and reliable. Its precision is 72, and its control score sits at 63, which makes it one of the smoothest rifles to use at mid-range. Sure, its per-shot damage of 20 is not exactly jaw-dropping, but the consistency makes up for it. If the M4A1 is an espresso shot, the AK-205 is a perfectly brewed cup of tea, steady, balanced, and not going to give you the jitters. Sliding over to the SGX submachine gun, and wow, this thing is a close-range demon. With a fire rate of 830 rounds per minute and laser-like hip-fire accuracy, the SGX thrives in tight spaces. It is not quite as versatile as the PW7A2 when it comes to mid-range, but that is not what the SGX is here for. This is the weapon for the true run-and-gun players, the ones who sprint into a building and clear every room before anyone has a chance to react. If you like chaos, this is your gun. Then we have the L110 light machine gun, the workhorse of the squad. What makes this one shine is not just its raw damage, but its balance across the board. With a 100 round magazine, you can lay down consistent suppressive fire, and with a fire rate of 719 rounds per minute, it is not sluggish either. It might not be as pinpoint accurate as the MK8, but the sheer mag size and versatility make it the LMG most players will gravitate toward. If the MK8 is a scalpel, the L110 is a sledgehammer, and sometimes a sledgehammer is exactly what you need. Now let's talk about the M39 EMR designated marksman rifle, which is basically the all-rounder of the DMR class. It hits for 42 damage per shot, has a respectable precision score of 55, and most importantly, its fire rate is much faster than its rival, the SVK 8.6, at 257 rounds per minute. That means if you miss a shot, you are not punished nearly as hard. The M39 is perfect for players who want range and accuracy, but do not want to fully commit to the slow, methodical playstyle of heavier DMRs. It is flexible, forgiving, and very rewarding for accurate shooters. What makes A-tier weapons stand out as a group is their versatility. Each of these guns excels in its intended role, but also has enough wiggle room to perform outside of it. An M481 user can stretch into mid-range with disciplined bursts, while an AKE-205 player can hold their own up close with good tracking. That adaptability makes them dangerous in the hands of someone who knows how to push their limits. Of course, the reason these guns are not sitting in S tier is that each of them has at least one very clear weakness. The M4A1's recoil can punish careless players. The AKE-205's damage is a bit underwhelming. The SGX is a monster in buildings, but practically useless if you try to duel a DMR at range. The L110 is powerful, but bulkier than some would like. And the M39 EMR, still not as lethal as a true sniper rifle when you need that one-shot impact. Still, none of those flaws take away from the fact that these guns feel amazing to use. They are the kind of weapons that, when you are in the zone, make you feel unstoppable. And unlike B-tier options, they do not demand extreme compromises. You are never left thinking, man, if only I had picked something else. So, when you load into the Battlefield 6 beta and you want something reliable, powerful, and fun, but you do not necessarily need to chase the absolute meta, A-tier weapons are where it is at. These are the guns that reward skill, punish sloppy mistakes, and give you that sweet feeling of being just one step below the true elites of the battlefield. The weapons in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, M87A1, NVO228E, PW7X2, and M210 ESR. Welcome to the big leagues, S-tier weapons. These are the absolute best of the best, the guns that make you wonder if the developers forgot to balance them before releasing the beta. If you want to dominate, if you want to farm clips for your montage, or if you simply want to make other players uninstall the game in frustration, these are the weapons you need. First up, the M87A1 shotgun, and honestly, this thing feels illegal. We are talking about 100 damage per shell, with a pump action cycle that is surprisingly quick, and precision that is almost too good for a shotgun. Up close, you do not just kill enemies, you erase them from existence. And the crazy part? With just a couple of well-placed shots, it can even secure kills at mid-range. Sure, its range is technically limited, but in interior fights and choke points, this thing is basically the Grim Reaper with a wood stock. Moving on to the NVO228E assault rifle, and if the M87A1 is the king of close quarters, this is the ruler of mid-range. Chambered in 7.62 Soviet, it dishes out 33 damage per bullet with laser-like precision of 35 and recoil control of 48. Even though its fire rate is only 654 rounds per minute, it simply does not need more. 2 or 3 well-placed bursts and your opponent is toast. The NVO228E rewards players who value accuracy over blind spraying, and once you get comfortable with it, it feels unstoppable. And then we have the PW782 submachine gun, which might be the most disrespectful weapon in the entire beta. With a rate of fire at 947 rounds per minute, crazy good control at 52, and mobility through the roof, this thing laughs at the laws of weapon balance. SMGs are not supposed to dominate at range, but the PW7A2 did not get that memo. You can hip fire people at close range without even aiming down sights, and still laser folks at mid-range. It is basically the I want to win now button for aggressive players. This is also a pattern we have seen before in shooters. In early patches, SMGs often break the meta because their mobility and fire rate let them outshine classes they should not be competing with. We saw it in Call of Duty, we saw it in previous Battlefield titles, and here it is again. Right now, the PW7A2 is so versatile that it outperforms some rifles, and that alone makes it a must-pick weapon. Now let's talk about the M2010 ESR Sniper Rifle, a weapon that defines long-range dominance. Chambered in .300 Winchester Magnum, it delivers 100 damage per shot, with a perfect precision score of 100. Translation: if you hit your shot, you are guaranteed a kill on unshielded targets. The fire rate is slow at 43 rounds per minute, but that is expected for a bolt action. What makes it so terrifying is the consistency. If you can aim, you can delete targets across the map like they are nothing. The M2010 ESR is not just strong, it is the most reliable sniper in the beta. You do not need to worry about hit markers or questionable damage drops. You hit someone in the chest or above and they are gone. In the hands of a skilled player, it turns every match into a highlight reel. And even in average hands, it is still an oppressive long-range tool that shapes the way players move across the map. So what ties all these S-tier weapons together? It is not just raw numbers, it is consistency and reliability. The M87A1 wins every close-range fight. The NVO228E dominates mid-range battles. The PW7A2 ignores the traditional weaknesses of SMGs. And the M2010 ESR makes ranged combat feel unfair. Each of these weapons not only excels in their role, but actively outperforms weapons outside of their category, and that is the scary part. S-tier weapons warp the meta around themselves. When you know someone is holding an M87A1 in a building, you play differently. When a sniper has the M2010 ESR, you do not dare cross open ground. These guns dictate the flow of matches, and that is why they stand alone at the top of the food chain. So, if you want to climb the scoreboard, frustrate your enemies, and feel like you are playing Battlefield 6 on easy mode, grab one of these S-tier weapons. Just do not get too attached. Because let's be honest, when the full release comes, these are the guns most likely to eat a fat nerf. Until then, enjoy the chaos. The video ends here. See you in another video. Don't forget to subscribe.